got, do you want to start with Opie or do you want to start with Chad and go into, I think it would be better to go into Chad, and then that kind of dovetails into Opie.
All right. Well, we've got 2 for Opie for sure. So then, yeah, let's do it.
So Chad started this thing, and I can't watch it. I mean, I could. I guess people have sent me clips. It's really not worth watching, but he always sets everything to private.
Mm-hmm.
So Chad decided after months of getting his brains beat in, and not even brains beat in like yelling at him and being shitty, like just making fun. One thing Chad doesn't understand about podcasting is you have to be funny. Like, you can't just be an angry cunt. People will be like, well, who's this angry cunt?
Sorry, Kevin.
No offense. But he doesn't do anything funny. We make fun of him. We all laugh. We have a good time. And instead of having a good time back and making fun of people, he goes, they're Kumia cucks, and they suck, and I fucking hate them, and they're terrible. It's like, yeah, dude, that's still us winning. Because the whole thing we're doing when we make fun of you is hoping you see it, and then you lose your shit. So you losing your shit is kind of all part of the process.
That's a victory for us.
So now Chad made this show, and he's calling it, it's very original, Kumia's Cucks. Which sounds like a promotion you'd run at a baseball stadium for a minor league team.
Or a video you'd find on OnlyFans. But yes, continue.
But look, he didn't put a lot of time and effort into the naming or the branding. It's more about the content.
Oh, so he spent all his time on the content.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, the reports I got from everybody who watched it is that, and here's Citizen M, who loves busting our balls, but he said he had some fair points about Compound, but 90% of it was fucking embarrassing. I had hopes for Chad, even just as a temporary anti-hero, but he let me down so fucking bad. You see, Chad, that was a guy who's a fan of ours who wants you to say funny things and about us sucking and shit on us, and even he's saying fucking embarrassing.
It was fucking embarrassing.
It's terrible. Worst thing he's ever seen. So, Chad, it's kind of one of those deals where playing the Kumia's Cucks clips kind of just reinforces everything we've been saying about you and leads to further victory on our end.
Yeah, we just have to sit back. You're winning for us.
Yes. And I feel bad for Kevin Brennan because now Kevin Brennan has to go on his show and he's like, oh yeah, Chad annihilated Steel Toe on his show. Kevin, you don't believe that, buddy. Stop. You're embarrassing yourself even further. And number 2, it shows me you didn't watch it because it was once again him watching us do a funny thing about Kevin and his head exploding while he's watching it. Chad, if you're going to make fun of people, they have to be doing something embarrassing that you can laugh at. You can't watch them be funny and then lose your shit. That's you just videotaping yourself losing the battle. I hate that I have to explain to the people that hate me how to properly attack me. I hate that I have such retards for opponents that I have to go, no, stupid.
Let me help you.
Here, let me look right here. And then you got to squeeze. There you go, buddy.
No. Too high, stupid. It's down here where the base meets the neck. Oh, like this? Yeah.
Oh, man. So it was really fucking bad. Well, now Chad is even having a worse time because this guy is a Carl guy. He's one of Carl's buffoons that Carl makes fun of. They call him Patty C. Cups. I think his name is Patrick Michaels.
Okay.
And he hosts a show. He's just this weird autistic guy who does a show, and it's usually remarkably terrible. And he's got awful takes. But even he can see Chad Zumock for what he is. We have maybe Chad's lowest point. I can't take credit for Chad's lowest point. It used to be me forcing him to spin around in circles in a cul-de-sac, yelling about us and saying the same 50 things over and over was like rock bottom for him.
Begging to be on MLC while you're on it.
And I put him there. But now the bottom of that bag has fallen through, out. And there's a new bottom, and it is Patty C. Cups of the Free Water podcast. It's 20 minutes long, so I'm going to play a little bit of Patty C. Cups shitting on Chad Zumock.
Now, the truth is, guys, I could have sat here and just put together a 10, 12-minute long video where I go through some of my favorite Chad moments. But I figured, fuck that, guys. We're going all the way in. And by
A fucking hack who sucks
Has favorite Chad moments.
is doing a show about how Chad sucks. Do you know how low on the totem pole you have to be for Patty C. Cups to go, oh, this guy's cringe and embarrassing?
By all the way in, I mean, we're starting with the first thing that I ever really saw Chad do stand up on, if you consider it stand up, okay?
Oh, no.
And of course, it could only be at the roast of Kevin Brennan.
Oh, we watched this
Yeah,
on this
this
show.
is
This
shitty
was
as fuck.
really bad. It wasn't even people laughing because he was bombing. It was people groaning and being uncomfortable. He was so fucking bad. And I think he wore the douchey captain's hat, too.
I don't remember.
All right? And Kevin Brennan himself uploaded Chad's part of the roast.
Your buddy
He clipped
Kevin.
Chad out of the roast and made a separate video for just Chad. For people like me to come and find where Chad Zumock attempts to be funny. Okay? Now remember, there's a lot of really shitty comics at the Kevin Brennan roast. It was hosted by Aaron Berg. Okay, Mike Bichetti's there, one of the fucking girls from Two Guys We Fucked or whatever, the Guys We Hump. Karen Feehan, Barry Ribbs, just a bunch of shitheads. Gino Bisconti, just not good comics. And truth be told, when it came to the roast, Gino Bisconti actually did better by leaps and bounds in comparison to Chad.
And by the way, Chad, you cannot call this like a Carl dicksucker or a Kumia dicksucker or anything like that.
He's not one of those people.
This guy hates me, hates Carl, probably hates Kumia, hates all of them, but real recognize real, and he can see, oof, this guy's a fucking train wreck. You know how bad it hurts Chad to hear someone impartial say, oh, Gino Bisconti was leaps and bounds funnier than this asshole.
These will be literal jokes from Ohio native Chad Zumock about not just Kevin Brennan, but all the other people around him. Let's see what Chad has to say. Let's see how he gets after Kevin Brennan.
This next guy.
All right, we've done the Chad Zumock roast segment before. We don't want to go over old ground with you guys. We'll give you just new stuff. So it has not what Chad thought was going to be the big comeback and the big,
Own.
I'm going to hit him high and hard here, has turned out to be a very shitty week for him. He debuted Kumia's Cucks. It went poorly. Even using Steel Toe's name, he still only did 100 live viewers. And not only that, he further raged at Steel Toe being funny. We were shitting on the show he's on, and he was shouting at it, which is the desired effect you want to have when you're making fun of that show. Then he gets made fun of by Patrick Michaels.
Uh-oh.
That is brutal. Well, now Opie is about to expose Chad Zumock as a giant phony.
Oh, no, not the Opster.
Not only that, after Opie tells his story, I have a story
Okay.
that sounds similar to the Opie story. So Chad Zumock loves Anthony, loves him. And the fact that Anthony doesn't love him back hurts Chad's soul. Chad makes fun of Carl because he wants to be Carl. He wants to hang out with Anthony. Chad makes fun of Anthony's crew, quote unquote, because he's fucking 16 years old.
Because he's not in it.
Because he's not in it. He doesn't want to be hanging out with Kevin Brennan. Kevin Brennan's no fun. He wants to be hanging out with Kumia. But Kumia sees him for what he is. E-Rock sees him for what he is. And by the way, E-Rock was nice to the fucking guy and tried to get him booked on shit, but nobody wanted him. And then Chad turns on him because everyone on Team Kumia has to suck now because Chad's frustrated that they all saw through to what he is. Well, he would always bag on Opie and talk shit about Opie and trash Opie because, right, Anthony, right?
Yeah, because Opie sucks.
He likes to call people Kumia's cucks, but there was no bigger cuck than Chad, but he's the worst kind of cuck. He's a rejected cuck. He's the guy who hits on the chick in the bar, and when she tells him to fuck off, he starts calling her lesbian. That's Chad Zumock.
Yeah, that's going to get you that sweet V.
So Opie reveals his thoughts on Chad, but also reveals little tuck-tail Chad sent him an email.
Oh, I was hoping he was going to say, I'm a fan of Chad.
So Chad, he's a comic. I was introduced to him from Jim
You're supposed to do
Florentine.
air quotes.
And every time I saw Chad, he was very, very respectful, very, very cool, very nice. And we absolutely got along.
Okay.
And then because you have to buy into bullshit on the internet, Chad
Look, Lemmy's in Opie's chat. Oh, you guys are fun.
out of nowhere started hating on me, or Chad started hating on me. And I even went on the live stream like, this is really confusing because every time I saw the guy, he was nothing but very, very cool to me and respectful.
He was trying to kiss up to Anthony. See, at least when I shit on Opie, it's because Opie treated me like a piece of shit. I had a personal story of Opie going, I'll do your show. Actually, one time you said something that wasn't totally the way I'd want you to say it, so I'm going to pass for now and revisit you in the fall. Good luck with your little show. All right, fuck you, you asshole.
He just really enjoyed feeling superior for once.
Chad actually is trying to form an alliance with Opie because we're desperate to make fun of these people. Chad's like got this Game of Thrones thing where he's like, I'm going to take them down. All right, Popeye, take it easy. So now he's going to try and recruit Opie to his side for the great war that none of us are fighting.
And I was confused by that. So I talked about that on the live stream because we tried to talk about some of this stuff. And fast forward a couple weeks, I think it was last week, I got a nice little note from Chad.
Ready?
And he actually apologized.
I thought we were the cucks. You don't see us going with our hat in hand and our tail between our legs to fucking Opie, do you? I mean, Chad, if you don't think you're being beaten, if you don't think these people are getting the better of you, why do you need to go recruit Opie to your side? What are you, 71-year-old Michael Keaton in The Flash?
Because he knows that's what'll scare Kumia. Is like, oh, yeah, buddy. Well, guess what? I went and got the Opster.
Go watch our interview with Anthony. You will see that one thing that Anthony fears talking about and doesn't like to divulge into in length is Opie talk. So
it's not like you can't get him off the subject once it starts, and it just keeps curtailing back into it.
So Chad tucks his tail between his legs and goes to Opie.
Mm-hmm.
And Opie feels very high and mighty about this. So now he feels above Chad.
Okay.
For buying into the bullshit. And he apologized for all the things he said about me. And I said, I really appreciate that, Chad. I said, I'm not going to lie to you. I was very, very confused because
I bet you that email contained the word narrative improperly used at least twice. Probably.
Like I just said, you were always very, very nice and respectful to me every time I saw you out and about. And he goes, I don't expect a response, but I just want to say I'm sorry. And I was stupid to buy in all the nonsense out there. I'm like,
oh, God. You know what? I don't expect a response or anything.
I don't want you to forgive me for cheating on you, but if we could stay together. Like, do you really hear yourself right now, buddy?
Beta!
Opie, this is Chad Zumock. I'm really, really sorry, and I don't expect you to forgive me.
Beta!
Aaron's a meathead, and I need
What a
help.
bitch.
And there's a lot of these cucks who are changing the narrative, and I just think that you can help me with the narrative, Opie.
Beta male!
He apologized to Opie. Oh, he doesn't mean a word of it either. He's a little sociopath. And it's just whatever suits him at the time. He didn't mean it when he shit on him. He just wanted to seem cool. And he didn't mean it when he apologized, but he feels like he needs people on his side. Oh, what are you, playing the gayest version of Survivor ever, Chad? Stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. Not only that, now I get to tell my fun little Chad email story.
Okay.
Before I blocked his email because he's an idiot, Chad Zumock, remember when he thought that he was really crushing Steel Toe and he went out in the courtyard or the cul-de-sac that one day and started screaming about all the terrible things he was going to do?
Right.
He emailed me immediately after that, apologizing. I don't think I've told this story yet.
No, you haven't.
He reached out and apologized. After all that shit he said and posted all the pictures and everything else, Chad sent me an email and said, if I went too far in talking about your family and everything else, then I'm really sorry. It's just that you guys have been picking on me and everything else. And I just had to be, I was just really upset. And he came out and he tried to apologize. And I think if you go back in my Twitter, I tweeted out the screenshot of the whole thing. It's actually there on Twitter, as come to think of it. And I told him, I said, no, you're fucking done, dude. I go, I was having a little fun with you. I was busting your balls. I was making fun of you. You acted like a retarded child. And now I'm done with you. I'm done. There's no like, we're having fun. This is a bit or whatever. Now I'm going to make fun of you because you're silly. You're going to continue to rage and get mad. I'm going to do all of it with a smile on my face. And everyone will see who's better at this. I'm better at making fun of you because you can't make fun. You can only be rage-filled.
I would go off of the video evidence that I've seen personally. You're probably better at comedy, too.
Yeah, I think, honestly, he's like, dude, he's so obsessed with, like, getting a hold of our comedy. He's like, $200 to anyone who gets me video of Steel Toe doing comedy. I'm like,
can I have that thumb drive back? I gotta make some money.
He is so desperate to watch me do stand-up. I mean, Chad, if you can afford it, you can buy a ticket.
That would be very surprising to see him come to Stoney's.
Oh, man. He's just like, hey, I'm really sorry. No, I'm sorry, Chad. You're done. We make fun of you. You rage. That seems to be the pattern we're in. You convince yourself you're doing well so we can make fun of you more. It's a nice little system that we have going here. Daniel says, Aaron should have said, thanks for the apology. I'll revisit you in the fall. Dario says, Aaron is 100% right. It's like watching a young lion eating an old lion with cancer and AIDS. Wow. Objectively, Steel Toe greater than Opie. Well, I don't even like the comparison.
I'm ashamed you think we're in the same fucking orbit.
I'm actually really upset about that. So let's let that Opie clip dovetail away from Chad and into the Opster. Of course, Chad said he wasn't going to drink anymore in 2023. He showed up to an episode of MLC last week late, and he was completely fucked up. Like, completely fell off the wagon. He's drinking again. So that explains the Kumia's cucks thing and the shouting and everything else. He's just a rage pig alcoholic. Well, he admitted to drinking again.
Okay.
So he's having the whole getting back into that. He said he wasn't going to do the drinking in 2023. He barely made it a month. Well, remember what Opie said he wasn't going to do in 2023. Do you recall?
Yeah, he wasn't going to talk about the O&A stuff anymore. He's done with Anthony. He's done with all of it.
Done with all of it. Well,
it's all over. Go watch it. He's got videos.
Here's the problem. After a couple weeks of doing stuff that was not Opie and Anthony related, Opie realized something. Nobody gives a flying fuck about Opie. And nobody gives a flying fuck about anything Opie has to say about just about anything.
So he has finally reached self-awareness.
No, I think he's just backpedaling. I don't think there was any reflection or self-awareness. I think it was just grabbing the pedals and just spinning them backwards. Here is Opie's video titled, Would Be Very Easy to Make Fun of Anthony.
Bold claim.
I got to tell you, I think this Opie and Chad tag team should happen. Mm-hmm. And they should add Stuttering John into the mix because they're all very much alike. But I think they should make that Opie and Chad tag team happen because they both do shit the same way. They fail at stuff. They don't draw an audience. And they go, well, I'm not trying. If I tried, it's like, well, then why don't you try? Yeah, but if I try, then I'm probably going to fail. And then I have to admit that I tried. So I'll just not try.
It's a lot easier just kind of phone it in under the wire and go, it's what it is.
And then when you get made fun of by all of us and we're getting laughs and you're just getting angry, you sit there and go, it would be so easy to make fun of them. It would be too easy. Well, then fucking do it. Who doesn't love an easy win, right? Give it a shot. Well, here's Opie saying it would be very easy to make fun of Anthony. Now, if you haven't taken passive-aggressive bitch language 101, saying it would be very easy to do something is doing the thing you say you're not doing. So when he says, I'm not talking about O&A in 2023, I'm not talking about Jimmy, I'm not talking about Anthony. Saying that if you did make fun of him, it would be easy is talking about the person.
And it's also kind of like, you just said it'd be easy, so why don't you do it?
Yeah, just fucking do it. That's what I don't get. Why wouldn't you take an easy one? Those are the best.
I'll hear some jokes. Let's go. Make them about me. I don't give a shit.
Want to check him out?
Yeah.
Let's see what he's got.
Hey, yo, with the recent comments on Joe Rogan Experience, would you consider going on with Jimmy or Anthony? God, no.
What do I want? Viewers and followers and people paying attention to me?
What do I want to go back to the only thing people ever gave a shit about that I did? What the fuck are you talking about?
No. Someone sent me a tweet that Anthony put out, I don't know, probably last night when he was old.
Here's another thing Opie and Chad do that they just can't admit. You read it.
You looked for it.
You saw it.
Someone sent me a thing.
They always say, someone sent me a thing. Someone sent me a thing. Someone sent me a thing. You know, if you say that every time, you're lying. Now, I always say, hey, I came across this thing, or I say, hey, someone sent me this thing.
I try to always name the person who sent it to me.
That's a big one. Name the person.
Credit your source.
Like Citizen M sent me the Kumia's Cucks thing along with this, I think this girl, Jenny on Twitter, sent me the Kumia's Cucks thing. And I wrote to them, I go, how bad is it? And they go, it's so fucking embarrassing. Don't even watch it.
So you have to be like Patreon to see it?
I'm not sure. I think people have clipped it a little bit. I think it might be out on Twitter, but it's hard to find.
Send them to me.
Drunk and stupid. I can't believe I ever had a relationship with the guy. I can't even repeat it on my live stream. He's absolutely lost his effing mind. The race crap is really eating away his damn brain.
I mean, the race crap has been there for a while, Opie. But number two, you can't believe you ever worked with the guy. I want you to turn around, Opie. Do me a favor. Turn around. Look at that beautiful view you have in that beautiful home of yours and that beautiful family you've got. And then when you look out there, I want you to say, thank you, Anthony. Thank you. Because the guy you can't imagine ever working with, if you hadn't worked with him, you don't have the wife, you don't have the house, you don't have the platform. You got none of it. You're an overnight jock in Long Island.
And if you need proof of that, just think about how long you lasted after he left.
Right. Didn't go well. I mean, Opie, I hate to say it, but do you think if you were an overnight jock in Long Island, any of this stuff happens? And you are not delusional enough. I know you'll say it, you'll deny it publicly, but in your private moments, you know that you did not have the talent to get to where you got to on your own. Anthony will say it. Jimmy will say it. He's the only one who won't say it. That on your own, you never could have done it. So thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Jimmy. Those two will always say, you know, thanks to Opie, I've got a good life. Mm-hmm. Opie will go, I can't believe I worked with the guy. Well, everything you've got, you kind of owe to those people, Opester.
The race stuff is undeniably over the top now. It used to be tongue-in-cheek and delivered with plausible deniability. Now it seems like an obsession. It's crazy. Someone sent me, I'll be honest, a couple people sent me a tweet and did recently. I'm like, I don't know that guy.
Really? I've been hearing that rant since the Opie and Anthony days.
Yeah.
It's the rant that he got fired for, dude. I'm sorry. It was actually milder than the one he got fired for from Sirius XM. I don't like this, what do you call this, virtue signaling Opie, where he's like, I don't know that guy. I'm like, he's pretty much always that guy. If you go back and listen to old Opie and Anthony shows, the race stuff was always there. It's once he started getting comfortable with it.
Then we had a problem.
Kind of came out a little more and more.
Literally don't know that guy. People make fun of me because Anthony pushed the agenda, which I find incredibly, incredibly pathetic. I guarantee
people make fun of
push the agenda. Now, I'll be honest. As an Opie and Anthony fan, when the show was on the air, the majority of the fans thought Opie was worthless. They thought Jimmy and Anthony were the driving force behind the program, and they didn't think Opie had much chops. I kind of defended him because I was a radio guy and he was a radio guy. I'm like, well, you need somebody to make sure the conversation goes this way and somebody's got to be there to push the buttons. And he didn't like that. He didn't like that he was the guy pushing the buttons or steering the conversation. He wanted to be one of the comedians. Well, dude, you're not funny. Just be happy that you got to be in the room when all these comedic geniuses got together and started talking shit.
And if you want to be one of those people, you were there.
Yeah.
Just do it.
I can listen to like literally 5 minutes of Anthony's show and make a lot of fun out of it. But I chose a long time ago just simply not to do that.
Oh.
Why? It's fun.
Oh, so you don't want to be successful on the internet?
Yeah. Are you just against fun? Watching people make an ass of themselves and making fun of them is fucking hilarious.
We're all having a great time, even maybe making a little bit of scratch, making fun of you. Join in.
Yeah. People get to make whole subreddits based off of clipping us and commenting that we suck and we're terrible. I'm glad we can provide that entertainment for people.
We're just helping however we can, even if it's to be the straw man you burn down.
We're spreading joy.
But all my hate, most of my hate comes from the guy that I yanked from obscurity and showed him a good life. Yes, was he talented and deserved the opportunity? And did he make the best of it? Of course.
Wow. You plucked him from obscurity and then you jumped on his shoulders. I think that would be a more apropos analogy.
Yeah, you plucked him from obscurity. Okay, crane operator, where were you sitting when you did that?
Yeah.
Where were you sitting when you plucked him from obscurity?
He's acting like he was Howard Stern. He was doing overnights on WBAB in Long Island. I'm sorry, mornings on Rockin' 101 in St. Cloud is more prestigious than that.
You were a glorified janitor who just got to pick the music he listened to while he worked.
And by the way, Anthony got on your show because he wrote a funny song parody. It's not like you just went, "Ah, and I bless thee and name thee my partner."
It was as soon as I saw him on the street and I was like, you deserve a career.
Right.
But it's that guy who now pushes all or most of the hate I get.
I'll be honest. He does push a lot of the hate you get. I think that's a fair point that Opie makes. But the only reason he's pushing the hate your way is because he does a comedy show. And it's really funny to talk shit about you. I know. Ever since you were shitty to me,
we've learned the joy.
I've been doing it, and it's fun. Are you kidding? Oh, Frank Pellegrino with $10 says, what if you did a dedicated live stream using YouTube fundraiser giving function and EFAP your own stand-up with Gino, Chrissy, whoever, and make fun of yourself? That would be really funny. That's what's on that zip drive, right?
Pretty much.
Is my last set.
Your last set, me, Tom, and you are on there. Jonah didn't want his stuff on the internet. So
it's like Johnny will attest to this. I don't really do sets when I go up there.
No, you just kind of fuck around.
I'm emceeing the show, and I just kind of do crowd work for 10 minutes and then bring the next person up, and then that 10 minutes turns into 20, 25 minutes.
And it's all a bunch of fun. And the one weird thing is you just constantly hear people laughing during what's going on. It's almost like it's a comedy show.
I think, you know what? I really like
that idea.
Frank's idea on that one.